What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ado's Picks. Today I'm joined by Bird and Cam, and the trade deadline is officially over. So it pretty much means the league is not the same. We had contenders move or superstars move, contenders shuffled their cores. We had teams make it obvious they're tanking. So we're gonna go over every trade from the trade deadline, or at least the more important ones, right? We might skip a couple here and there or mention them, but not talk about them a whole ton. So we're gonna grade every single move, all the way from the first one that we had with Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder getting moved all the way down to Anthony Davis. So, like I said, I'm here with Bird and Cam. We're breaking it all down. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Bird, start us off, man, with your favorite trade of the deadline, and that's where we'll start. What was your favorite move?
My favorite move was the Cavs going to get James Harden. You look at Darius Garland, he hasn't been active. He's played in, I think, 22 games this season out of, I think, like 40 something. So probably about half of the games he's been available to play. And there's been growing frustration with his availability for a while now. And I just think the Cavs got to steal. Like, yeah, you look at the Clippers, they got a young guard for the future. But the Cavaliers got to steal in someone like James Harden. He's an Iron Man. He's always available. He's durable. He can score when you need him to score. He can score 40 if you need him to. He's averaging, I think, like 25 and 8 on the season right now. You add someone like that alongside Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. He can throw the lob. That's my favorite trade by far, man. Like James Harden and that Cavs offense, what brings a whole nother dimension. I think they had wooed like Craig Porter running point guard at some point. Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
for real,
so
Craig Porter.
so now like Harden steps in. That's my favorite trade.
Yeah, that's a good one to start us off with because it's one of the bigger ones, right? So for me, the only thing I like about the trade, and you pointed this out, is the fact that James Harden, his availability is there, right? And that helps the Cavs a lot. You're missing one of your key pieces in Garland all the time for the last couple of seasons. You replace him with obviously a much older player, but it's someone that's going to be on the court and do something similar to what Garland offers you. But the only thing that makes me bad about this trade is like I don't think that either team is gonna win with what the moves they just made.
Yeah.
Like either like this doesn't help the Cavs get to where they need to be in any way, shape, or form. Like I've seen James Harden be paired up with I could probably name five Hall of Famers that he played with close to or in their prime. And they didn't win a single thing. Like, never had a chance. So now you pair him up with Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell, one of my favorite players in the league, probably my second favorite player behind Shea in the league right now. My only gripe about Donovan Mitchell is that he's never been able to get it done in the playoffs, right? So you pair someone that can't get it done in the playoffs with another backcourt mate that can't get it done in the playoffs to try to make a run for a title when you got teams like the Knicks, the Pistons, um, whoever else out east, the Celtics, whoever it may be out east, you're still not gonna win. So that's my biggest gripe with it is James Harden has never won nothing next to real deal Hall of Famers. I don't think he wins anything now. And then on the other side of the thing, the Clippers just randomly decided to tank out of nowhere. They're not winning anything, and that only helps OKC. So I'm okay with it, but I don't know. It just seems like the Clippers still have no clear direction. They still, like we talked a little bit about, have Kawhi, and then James Harden is not helping the Cavs win. So I don't know. If I had to put a letter grade on it, both sides, I'd say C plus. Doesn't really help. Does not gonna hurt them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Cam, you got any thoughts on that the Harden trade? Anything that me or Bird might not have missed that you picked up on that you liked, enjoyed, or don't like?
In my opinion, I think the Clippers lost and the Cavs won this trade by far. This season, Darius Garland's kind of been in and out the lineup. And, for the past couple of years, me personally, I haven't really saw the duo in Mitchell and Garland. You really can't win, with two small guards. And yes, Harden is a guard, but he's a little taller than Garland.
Hmm.
But he's more available and he has more experience. And I feel
Yeah.
like this duo will take the pressure off of D Mitch because this year D Mitch has had a lot of pressure to play make for others. And also getting James Harden, yes, Darius Garland is a good playmaker, but James Harden's on a different level. He's a walking 25 and 8. And yes, he's 36, but he's going to make, Mobley's and Allen's job a lot easier. He's going to take off pressure of D Mitch. And I feel like D Mitch can play off ball while Harden's creating offense for, the Cavs. I don't know. I get the reasoning why the Clippers did it because James Harden, he could have just walked in the offseason and kind of went from there, but it was kind of out the blue. I mean, the Clippers started off real bad, and then they, won like what 17 out of their like last 20 or something like that before Harden got traded,
Yeah.
and they were looking good. But I didn't really expect him to be a threat in the West anyway.
Mm-mm.
Darius Garland, yeah, maybe he does something, but like he's a 6'1" guard that's had toe and ankle injuries, and like I don't know if he can really last a whole NBA season because he's so small. So if I had
Yeah.
to grade it, I would probably say Cavs A minus because they're definitely a better team now and for the next couple years. And Clippers probably like a C plus.
So it sounds like I'm just a Harden hater then. I'm just not.
Mm.
I don't like the trade because I don't like James Harden, which I don't. I mean, I like Harden. I like y'all said he's an upgrade to Garland. I think he makes the team better, but I don't know. I just maybe I just don't see it that way because I'm hating on Harden. Sounds like y'all like the trade definitely a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you in a way. I don't know. I just don't see the Cavs
No,
winning.
you have valid points when you look at, playoff
Mm-hmm.
performances.
Yeah, I mean, think of the
Very
players he's
valid
been
points.
with. Like he's been with Embiid in his prime. He's been with Kawhi. Kawhi's obviously been injured, so that hurts
Mhm.
his time. But KD, Russ, CP3, Paul George, like that's like 5, 6 Hall of Famers right there that he played with. Like I said, close to their
Dwight
prime.
Howard.
Dwight Howard, like he had teams around him to get it done, and obviously he was going against prime Braun, prime Steph Curry,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it makes it difficult. But I don't know. For me, it's like James Harden's one of those guys that's not gonna get a ring, and it's like he's not like a Carmelo Anthony or like a Chris Paul that just didn't get it done. Harden is like elite level tier and not gonna get a ring with good teams. So I don't know. Cam, what was your favorite trade of the deadline?
My favorite trade, it was out the blue, but it was Jaren Jackson going to Utah. I really like what
Definitely out the
Utah's
blue.
doing now. They have some nice pieces in Keontae George and Larry Marketing, and Walker Kessler's been out the whole year, but he's a really good defender and rim protector alongside Jaren Jackson. And yes, Jaren Jackson cannot rebound for his size, which is kind of crazy, but he's a guy that can, catch a shoot a three ball, can defend 1 through 5, and just be a nice piece for that Jazz team. Like I said, I didn't expect this trade to happen, but I am a fan of Keontae George and what they have in Utah, and I feel like yes, they're gonna have a lot of size, but they might be a little slow, but they're gonna have a lot of size. Larry Markin is 7 foot, running the three. You got Jaren Jackson and Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler's like 7'1", so I
Hmm.
feel like with that, front court with Keontae George, that's 6'4", kind of creating the offense. I don't know if Ace Bailey can really play the two because he's kind of a forward type, so maybe he's their sixth man or they trade him in the offseason or whatever, but they kind of need to find a two. I mean, they still have
Hmm.
their draft pick coming up, and the draft's very nice. So like if they can get like a Darren Peterson or someone like that, that can go very nice for the Utah Jazz. I just feel like I get the Memphis part because you're rebuilding. Jaren Jackson, Ja, that's not really going anywhere. They kind of had their time a couple years ago with Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bain when they lost to the Lakers in that playoff series, and that was kind of their ceiling. But yes, getting three future first round picks is very nice. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think Utah won this trade by far. I think they're one of the biggest winners of the deadline of what they did. So if I had to rate this, I would probably go Utah Jazz A plus, and Memphis probably with the three first round picks. I'd probably say B.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think you made some valid points there. I'm kind of on the opposite side of things. I really like the trade for Memphis. They went rebuild mode and they did it right. I feel like they're taking a very Thunder approach to their rebuild. They pivoted now. They got what was it 4 firsts for Desmond Bain or three or four?
Mm-hmm.
I think we
I
got
think
four, I
Yeah,
three.
think.
yeah.
3 or
So
4, yeah.
they did that. Then they traded their second option. The only thing they're left with is obviously John Morant, which kind of makes him a loser at the deadline. I feel like they could have moved on from him. But outside of that, you get 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson Jr. I feel like that's perfect for the way that Memphis wants to take it, and they pivot to that rebuild. On the other side of things, I think it's a solid move. I think it does. If I had one gripe about it, I feel like they slowed down the development of Ace Bailey quite a lot because he is a forward. I don't really know where he fits into the lineup. I look at him as a four, and I think that's where he gets a lot of his reps at is at the four. I guess he could be a shooter for them moving forward, but like that still hurts his development. So
Hmm.
that would be my only worry about it is you just took this guy in the draft and moving him to the bench that quickly, not really giving him time to develop fully and as quickly as possible. That I think that's my only gripe about it. But I like Utah making a move, man. I don't like teams that just sit around and do nothing. So making a move and trying to get better, I can appreciate that from Utah. But I think Memphis got their values worth out of Jaren Jackson Jr. Bird, you got any thoughts on this one? I know this was another top
Um,
trade. What do you think on it?
no, I liked it for both sides. The Grizzlies, they're selling. They needed to sell. like you mentioned, I feel like they should have got off Ja as well. But,
Yeah.
you get rid of Jaren Jackson Jr. You're gonna have cap space for days. You get a young wing defender in Taylor Hendricks who's coming back from injury, working his way back into things. Young promising guard in Walter Clayton. You never know what these guys will be in 2 years from now. I mean, they're still on their rookie deals. You get 3 first rounders. I'm not sure what year they are, but 3 first round picks. First round picks are like gold in the NBA. One of these young players can pop, and then 2 years from now, the deadline, you're buying. You have these first round picks. You're buying at the deadline. You're looking for that one piece that can help you get back to the playoffs.
And that's,
But
I mean, that complacency that they didn't settle for, which is cool
yeah,
because like
yeah,
Utah, I look at them as a team that just tanks and tanks and
hmm
tanks every year. They're just terrible. But to
yeah,
see them kind of believe in their core and the stuff that they built with, like Cam said, Keontae George, Laurie Markkinen stayed around. He was in trade talks for what 2 years.
yeah.
So yeah, I like it. The more we talk about it, it makes sense for Utah to kind of make a move and try something.
Try something. Yes.
I like it a lot. If I have a favorite trade, I think I would pivot us to another big man getting traded. Not as young, but I would go Anthony Davis to the Wizards, man. That'd be my favorite one.
Mhm.
I think that it makes a lot of sense for both sides, right? AD's been on, I guess, the trade block or in trade talks for
Mhm.
a while now. He never really got to play with the Mavericks. We see him come in first game with Kyrie Irving out hurt, and they're both down. You know what I'm saying? So it makes a lot of sense for the Mavericks. I don't know if their return was anything to write home about, but they did what they could, and instead of losing them for nothing and just letting them sit there and not play, they made a move on it. Um,
Mhm.
and on the other side of things, the Wizards didn't give up a ton of picks, right? They gave up
Two first, two
two first,
seconds.
2 seconds. Okay, they kept their core together and they paired him with Trey Young. So I think it's another weird one, kind of similar to Utah. They made a move instead of just sitting around. My only thing about it is obviously Anthony Davis's injury history. He doesn't
Yeah.
just magically stay healthy now that he's on a better team or a team that he gets the keys to, right? So he's still on a massive contract with multiple years left, and the injury history doesn't just disappear. So as many people, especially people around us, right, because we're local, everyone's like Wizards, Wizards, Wizards. This is
Mhm.
awesome. Let's start going to the games. AD still has to stay healthy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it can either be a bold move that really pays off, or it's going to be a catastrophic move for the Wizards. Not that they gave up enough for it to be catastrophic, but if he doesn't play at all, it's going to look stupid here in the next few years for Washington. So I don't
Yeah.
want to keep being the bad guy in every trade. That's just my only thought about it. Either one of y'all a fan of that move or had any, what do y'all think on that one?
I look at it, man, and the one thing I hope the Wizards don't do is like, yeah, you want to see what you have with Trey Young and Anthony Davis, but this season's over. Don't
Yeah.
try to, oh, let's put Anthony Davis on. Let's get a look. Let's get a look at what he looks like. Like, no, you know who Anthony Davis is when he's healthy. Like, tank the season away. Do whatever you want with your pick.
Hmm.
Draft, trade it away, trade down, get more assets, whatever. But don't try to rush Anthony Davis out there. You know who Anthony Davis is. On the other side, like the Mavericks, they're getting draft capital. They've pretty much shown that they're going to build around Cooper Flag, and they have no interest in trading Kyrie Irving, who they expect. I guess they expect to be there for the next 3-4 years, however long Kyrie has left.
He's a
How much
nut too,
gas?
bro.
How much gas he has left in the tank? You get Chris Middleton, expiring contract. He's gone. That's cap space you have available.
Hmm.
Malachi Branham was in this deal. I think he's already
I like
gotten
Brown.
trade. He's gotten traded already again.
Hmm.
He's gone to the Hornets for Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley, he's shown promise this year. I like that. I thought Daniel Gafford was going to get moved. They said the
Yeah.
Pacers were interested in him, but then I guess they ended up getting Zubac, obviously. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, all around, I think it was a good trade for both sides. Mavericks going in a new direction with Cooper Flag, as their future, and the Wizards are showing that they're going to buy, they're going to try things, and I don't really blame them. They've had how many years of poverty? I mean, this doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah, to
Like,
try.
forget it. Yeah.
It's like
So,
Utah making a move, bro. Instead of just sitting there and lottery,
yeah.
lottery, lottery, you get to make a
Yeah.
move and at least try. Whether or not be this year, I guess that's true. It doesn't help them this year, but
Mhm.
if they get healthy and run it next year, it would be pretty interesting to see. And they definitely got a good squad. I think this is the best team Trey Young's ever been a part of, possibly. So it would be cool to see.
I think it was pretty even. I feel like this is the best package the Mavs could have got, for AD. I mean, AD is like
Mhm.
brittle now. I mean, I watched him in LA, and you just never knew night in, night out. He could, bruise his knee, get poked in the eye, whatever. He was always something with AD. So, I think that's the best package. Now they got Cooper Flag, one of the best, young players in the league. They got 2 first-round picks for him. I think a young guy in AJ Johnson who has some
Mhm.
promise, who could be
Yeah.
something. So I'd like that for the Mavs, kind of just get off the AD, kind of get the Luka trade behind them, because I mean that was the worst trade ever, trading a guy
Yeah,
in their prime, one of the best players in the league for Max Christie and AD, who's 32. For the Wizards, it's cool. My whole life they've been terrible. Besides some years with John Wall and Bradley Beal, now you got a front court of Alex Sarr and AD. That's a lot of length and defense, and that's gonna be nice for Trey Young, because Trey Young's like the worst defender in the league. So like he has those two guys behind him that can protect him, and then they have some wings and Bilal Coulibaly and the rookie Trey Johnson. They have some pieces in Washington. I wouldn't extend them right away. And Trey Young and AD, I want to see them like play together before I extend them, because like I said,
Mhm.
Trey Young's good when he's on the floor, but there's some parts of his game where like he really can't defend, and he gets injured, here and there. And then same with AD, he's always hurt. Like when AD's on the floor, he's a great player, but you
yeah,
just really can't depend on him. So it's a risk from the Wizards. I respect it. I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm from Richmond, so like I might go to some games in DC and see it in person. I think it would
yeah,
be cool. But I feel like this trade was pretty equal. I feel like the Mavs kind of got their future picks and assets, and got some players back for Cooper Flag to build around him. And the Wizards wanted to take a chance. They've been terrible for the last couple of years, and they said, "Screw it, let's go get Trey Young, AD. A nice pair, and see how things play out."
that's perfect. Yeah, bro. It's definitely a gamble, right? Betting on AD to be there, but when you don't return that much, when you get a cheap price on him, it's worth taking that gamble. And just a few years ago, he did play like over 60 games, right? He was healthy for a good percentage of that season with the Lakers.
Mhm.
So to see him possibly be out there, and I hope for the best. I tell people this all the time. There's one person I hate in the world. I'm not a hateful person, but it's probably Anthony Davis. If I hated one person in the whole world, it'd probably be him. But it doesn't mean he's not a good basketball player, right? So if he's out there, he'll make an impact on the Wizards. So those were those the three main big trades. We had Jaren Jackson, AD out the blue, both of those guys, and then obviously the Harden one kind of came out of nowhere too. Was those the three main trades like that had
You also had
everyone shocked?
Zubac going to the Pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. Obviously, Zubac was on the market. We knew people were aiming to get him, right. Cam, before we recorded, I think it was yesterday, you told me out of the blue that you thought Zubac would go to the Pacers. And at first I was like, what is Cam talking about? I mean, then you kept telling me why, and then I was like, hold on, that makes a lot of sense. And then it happened today. Tell everyone what you were
Crazy.
thinking about that before, you called your shot there. I wish we were recording when you did it. Tell everyone what you were thinking about Zubac and why you thought he might go to the Pacers because it worked out.
Well, I saw a couple of days ago that Mathurin, he was on the trade block. They were looking to trade him for a center. I forgot what center exactly, but I saw he's on the trade block, and I saw the Pacers really needed a big man, because this year they were starting Jay Huff, and I was like, that's just not good. All he does is reverse dunks. Like, he's just not really a center that you can really trust. And then I saw Zubac was out with like personal reasons, and I was like, oh, James Harden was just out a couple of days ago with personal reasons. Like maybe Zubac is like getting traded. And then like last night I heard rumbles of, oh, there's a a plan of Zubac going to Indiana and Matherin going to LA, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like Aiden said, I told him a couple of days ago, and it worked out. But I think it's great for the Pacers. I feel like they really need a big man, and you pair him with Siakam, and once Hadley gets back next year, one of the best playmakers in the league, like he's really go feed off of Zoo. And then also you got Nemhard and Neesmith as well. I feel like this is a great, move for the Pacers. Of course Tatum's coming back next year for the Celtics, but I feel like, next year the Pacers could be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the East, and, make another run for it. So I think I feel like they were the winners of the deadline for me personally, getting the center for
Yeah.
next year. Yeah, he's 28, but also like, you get Zubac, and hopefully, you just keep on tanking and you get a top 4 pick, and you get someone else to pair with, what they have now. And Indiana could be really special. And with the Clippers, yeah, you got Matherin who can play alongside Garland, but now you have 2 guards that really can't defend, and we
Yeah.
kind of had to see how that plays out. So I think the Clippers is kind of just said, screw it, we're starting over. James Harden wanted out, so we traded Zubac, and you really can't trust the Clippers. But I feel like Indiana really won this trade by far.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they won the deadline as well.
Yeah, it's a big move for him, especially closer to the end of the deadline. That didn't come till like after 3 o'clock today. So when you told me about the trade, Cam, my first thought was, well, the Raptors did something really similar last year and went and made a move for someone like Brandon Ingram. They were terrible. And this is a Pacers team that has a very similar core. Just went to the finals, took the best team in basketball to 7 games. Obviously, Hallie went down with the injury, right? So they're as close as you can get to winning a championship without actually winning it. You lose Hallie all season. Okay, well now we got to regroup. You analyze what you got and make changes to for when Halliburton's going to be back, because that's what you got. So you notice you need a center. You notice Mathurin doesn't fit the timeline. You ship one out for the other, and I think it's a huge deal. I would consider them a winner. I think they gave up a lot, though. I'm really nervous for them losing
Hmm.
this first round pick. But Bird, that's another thing that you mentioned. Why does losing that first round pick not matter as much this year if they do end up losing it? Because if it falls out of
Um,
the top four and after, what is it, 4 through
yeah, so 1 through 4 and then
mm,
10 through 30. So pretty much if it falls like 5 to 9,
5 to
then
9?
it conveys to a 2031. So I mean, when I look at it, I just think the Pacers don't really like have anything to lose in this situation. Your
Hmm.
biggest question mark was center. You look at the Bucks; they signed Miles Turner for 5 years, 105 million. You're getting Zubac on 3 years, however many. It's way less, like
Yeah.
way cheaper. And I'll say Zubac is a better center than Miles Turner by a country mile for me.
Hmm. I mean, Zubac doesn't shoot it right, but he does
He
everything
doesn't
else
shoot
better.
it, but
Everything else.
I like if I was an NBA GM, I want Zubac over
Hmm.
Miles Turner. Yeah, Zubac can't shoot, but who cares? He's a bruiser. He can pretty much defend any center in the NBA. He's gonna hustle. He's gonna give it his all.
That's what they needed a lot of, is that
And
game.
everyone was giving Indiana flack for not um bringing back Miles Turner. I don't really blame them for not bringing back Miles Turner. Super inconsistent.
He's been bad this year.
Like he's not like anything spectacular. They felt he was replaceable, and they've shown that he's replaceable. You get rid of Benedict Mathurin, they weren't going to be able to bring him back in the offseason. So obviously you want to get something in return for that. I don't think Indiana gave up too much. A lot of people argue that Indiana gave up too much. I don't really see the case.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
I mean, if that pick falls and it conveys to a 2031, I like it a lot more. If they lose out on a 5 pick to get Zubac, they also lose out on Mathurin. I question it a little bit more, but as you pointed out, after 4 in the draft, it kind of, you can go any direction you want, right? And then
Yeah.
after 10, like, obviously you don't want to just lose a pick, but you're getting Zubac back in return. So if they can keep 1 through 4, that's beautiful, because you get one of the top 4 players, and that's where that little fall off happens,
Mhm.
right? So it makes a lot of sense. I guess they're not losing out on a ton. So it's another one that you guys are talking me into understanding a little bit more as we go. Like, I'm hating on them, and then you guys are on the other side. It's like,
Yeah.
it makes a lot more sense. Another team that needed a center, right, and kind of struggled and went and picked one up and this is instead of getting like a defensive center, get the rebounds and stay out the way, they went and got one that fits their build a little bit better. It's the Boston Celtics, and they went and
Mhm.
picked up Nikola Vucevic. They gave up Simons. Bird, what else was in that trade? It was
It was so Simons in the second round pick and then Vucevic in the second round pick. So
okay, so kind of
even
just an even swap for the two.
yeah,
Okay, cool. That's another team that needed a big, right? I mean, Neemias Queta was getting the job done. He was holding
yeah,
it over, but Neemias Queta is not a starting center on a championship winning team. So I see videos of Jason Tatum doing
yeah,
405
yeah,
on deadlift. Like, he's coming back, bro. He'll
yeah,
be here.
yeah,
I don't know if he'll be ready to play
yeah.
35, 40 minutes a game, but he's on the way back.
Hmm.
So you got to make a run at it and expect
Hmm.
him to be healthy and be Jason Tatum when he comes
Yeah,
back. So I like that trade a lot I mean, Simons wasn't doing a whole lot for Boston. He was coming off the bench for Pritchard. I think it's easily replaceable to find what he was doing for you. I like the swap to go get Vucevic. He obviously, my only gripe with Vuce is he doesn't play defense a lot.
yeah,
Stretch the floor and shoot the ball,
yeah,
do the dirty work, but he's not going to stop anything from happening in the paint. As a team like Boston, you want everyone to shoot. You also have a center that can't defend the paint. It's like you're leaving all these things kind of vulnerable, just with your play style. So I
yeah.
don't know if he lines up on the defensive end of things, but he definitely lines up on the offensive side of things. So
Hmm.
big man everywhere. That's the theme of the
Yeah,
deadline, is centers getting the bigs that you need.
Yeah.
Do y'all like that trade for either side more than the other?
I
Yeah.
like it for the Celtics, but not the Bulls.
I couldn't tell you what the Bulls are doing, dude. What do they got going on?
I don't know. I mean, they're both on expiring deals. You don't really lose either way. Like if you're the Bulls, like you're not gonna win anything. I feel like if I'm the Bulls, I'm trying to get at least another second rounder out of it to make it worth my while. You're pretty much just swapping players and swapping second round picks.
Hmm.
But you give your in conference opponent what they want. Like they didn't care about keeping Simons, obviously, as you can see.
They want
They
to
just
win
wanted
big.
they just wanted a big, you know what I'm saying? Like I believe they're third in the East right now. They may have some internal feelings that if Tatum looks good by the last 2 weeks of the regular season, hey, we'll throw him out there, see how he looks.
You think it'll be that late?
Hmm.
I think it might even be earlier, bro. I
I,
think
I, I mean, I
getting a
don't
little
know,
hype.
but like Boston feels like they may have a shot to come out the East, and I don't blame them.
I'm telling you,
I,
they
I
do.
I really don't blame them. You look at the Cavs; they've struggled. The Pistons, they've been up and down. I don't blame the Celtics for feeling like they have a shot to come out of the East.
Yeah, it's just
So
weak. It's weak
I,
over
I,
there.
I like it. I like it for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam, what do you
I'm a
think
big
about
fan of
that?
the Celtics. I feel like Boston won by far. I mean, I don't know what the Bulls are doing. They have like 10 guards on their roster. Anthony Simons is a good player, but like, Boston had Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, so they didn't really need him, and they needed a big. And I feel like
Hmm.
Nikola Vucevic is a very nice center. He's not a defensive center, but he can spread the floor. He's a great defensive rebounder. And I feel like he can give that Al Horford slash Porzingis type role. And yes, like I said, he isn't a great defensive player, but you also are playing with the best two way in the league in Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, and Derek White can also defend too. But I'm a really big fan of the Celtics getting that. It's kind of crazy how like the Indiana Pacers and the Celtics, who's been good for the last couple of years, still make moves to improve their roster. And I feel like, like I said 10 minutes ago, Indiana was, you know, the winner, but I feel like Boston was right behind them. I feel like I was a big fan of getting Vucevic and pairing them with Jalen Brown and once Tatum gets back.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think they're both winners because they filled that need of having that center, and that's exactly what both teams should have done at the deadline. That's
Hmm.
if you asked anybody, everybody knew what those two teams had to do. So it makes a lot of sense for Boston. One thing I hate about Chicago is they do not capitalize on what they have. Like they wait until the very last minute to get rid of these
Hmm.
guys. They wait as long as possible. And like you pointed out, Bird, they got nothing in return for Vucevic. Well, Simons is not nothing. I don't want to say that, but just an even swap. Like you trade
Yeah.
Vooch 2 seasons ago, and you capitalize on when he's as good as he's gonna get. It's like you gotta capitalize on that. Levine, what's the core? It was like Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, Kobe
Rufus.
White, Lonzo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No first round picks at all for all five of them. Like that's bad. You wait until the
Yeah.
very last second to get rid of these guys.
Yeah.
It's just year in and year out, the Bulls make terrible decisions, and this
Yeah.
is another one that just stacks on the
Like
list.
if there was a book on like how not to GM as an NBA GM, it would be like the Chicago Bulls would be on like the cover page. Like
Him or
it's
Joe Dumars and
it's
the
yes, it's
Pelicans.
actually insane. Joe Dumars hasn't been there, I don't
Right.
think 2 seasons,
Yeah.
and he's shitting the bed literally. Like
Oh my God. Him, Joe Dumars, and then Sacramento, bro. I don't remember who the GM in
yeah,
Sacramento, but
at least Sacramento's trying. I give them credit. They're trying,
bro, they're
but
trying to
nobody
beat a Bull.
they are, but nobody want Rosen.
Their contracts are just too big, bro. There's nothing
Like
you
the
can do with
Rosen
them.
man, I don't even know. We're not getting to that right now, but
Another trade on the move, or another big on the move to a different team, was Kristaps Porzingis. He is an expiring contract, so the Warriors are kind of taking a risk, but they needed to do something. They're one of those teams that when I talked about who has to do what at the deadline, they were under pressure. Steph Curry is getting older with every snap of the finger. Like it's almost time. Like for Curry to be gone. It's just is what it is. He's not gonna give you 30 and 10 a night and carry you to a finals anymore. He needs a
mhm.
supporting cast. Cam, I think you talked a little bit about this one before we recorded as well, or earlier today we were. I can't remember. What do you think about Porzingis to Golden State and Kuminga and Hield to Atlanta?
I mean, if I'm being realistic, I wasn't a fan of both teams actually. I mean, I get why Golden State did it because like You want to win now with Steph Curry, like you were saying, he's very old. But for the last couple of weeks, it was Giannis, 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 and then that backfires, and you go for Porzingis. And yes, Porzingis and Draymond could be a decent front court, but you just don't know what Porzingis and his health, and he hasn't really been healthy for the past year. I mean, he's a good stretch big, but I feel like the Warriors would be a play-in team, and that's about it. And I feel like with Steph at his age, you really got to take more risk. Get a player like Giannis or whatever, make a bigger trade to, pair him with Steph so Steph can actually make a run. This we might not ever see Steph in a big time game, a big time playoff game anymore. And it's kind of crazy to say, but that's the truth. And, on the Atlanta side, like, I'm a big fan of Jalen Johnson. I feel like this might stump his growth a little bit. I feel like they already have enough forwards in Atlanta. And now you get Kaminga, and Kaminga can't play the guard. He can't play the three. He has to play the four, and Jalen Johnson's at the four. So, like, and we saw in Golden State, Kaminga was very whiny in his playtime and his touches. And
Yeah,
how's he going to act in Atlanta when Jalen Johnson is the offense? He's the engine. The ball is always in his hand. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, it's a risk. I like Kaminga as a player. I just don't think it's a good fit. Because, I mean, you already have Ricochet, and I guess Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a guard, but sometimes he plays a 3-2. I just feel like they had too many forwards already.
yeah,
And, Kaminga is not going to start. He's going to be off the bench, and can he handle that? So we'll see how things play out. But I just feel like this really might stump the growth of Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson's been real good. But like I said, I wasn't really a big fan of this trade at all. I
yeah.
feel like it was kind of just like, meh, like I don't really care
Out of this
for it. I
one.
mean, we'll see what happens, but I feel like both teams kind of lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the Warriors definitely lost probably the whole deadline by not going and getting, at least trying to get Giannis, right. And this was one of their only moves, was pulling in Kristaps Porzingis, who got AIDS, bro. He dead ass has AIDS. Like, he's not gonna play, bro. He's not helping Steph Curry. That's just a tough one. Bro, do you think anything of that
Um,
trade, or are you kind of in the same boat as
yeah,
Mike?
this
What you got
trade was
going?
shitty. This trade was like actually shitty. Kristaps Porzingis has played in 17 games this season out of I think 41 or 42 games. Mm. Like like Cam said, Jonathan Kaminga, he's known to throw temper tantrums when he doesn't get his way, doesn't get playing time. He thinks he wasn't getting playing time on the Warriors. He's not going to start over any of those guys in Atlanta who've been there all season. You look at someone like Buddy Hield, like yeah, cool. I just don't see what the Warriors like what they're thinking. What is
So, oh
going through
shit,
Mike Dunleavy's head? Like he's played 17 games out of 40 games, not even half of the games. At least Darius Garland played at least half of the games this season.
it's a
He's
oh
already
shit
been
trade, bro.
Porzingis has already been ruled out for the game Saturday. Like the dude's not gonna play, man. Like
Nothing's gonna change. It's like you can't wipe away the fact that he's Magic Johnson, bro. Like,
it's actually insane to me that out of every offer the Warriors have had on the table for Kaminga, they were better off doing the Kings deal in the offseason with whatever how many picks and whatever else was going on with that whole thing. Speaking of another GM that doesn't know what they're doing, Mike Dunleavy Jr. is a terrible GM. He had the opportunity to get Lloyd Markkinen. He's like, no, I want to keep Braden Przemski. Braden
oh,
Przemski is garbage.
yo, he's bro. Y'all, he gets hella hate. They all think he's that bad.
He is terrible.
I don't think he's as bad as what he like. What?
Bro, he's terrible, bro.
Oh, that's hilarious, bro. No, he is. He is. But I don't know if he's as bad as people make him out to be at the same time.
Probably not, but in my eyes, every time I watch him play it, like it's bad
He's
basketball,
just like
man.
a little like rabbit, bro. He's all
Bro,
over the place
like
all the
he
time.
tries to foul bait, like, no, you're not that guy.
Oh
But
man, that's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, I would say the Warriors are a loser, and another team that is kind of similar and that was in the Giannis sweepstakes, right, is the Timberwolves. But the Timberwolves made other moves and addressed other things. They didn't settle for Kristaps Porzingis like the Warriors did, right? So we got two
Mhm.
teams that are high in the Giannis sweepstakes. One of them I would consider a loser. One of them got out of here alive. And that's the Minnesota Timberwolves. They cleared that Conley cap space to make a run at Giannis. Conley is a free agent. They could even sign him back. Like
Yep.
Anthony Edwards was in his interview begging for her to sign back on whatever type of deal he could
Yep.
get, right? So they might get him back. And they brought in Ayo Dosunmu too, right? So that first trade they moved was to clear that cap, make a run at Giannis. It didn't work out. But then they went and got an upgrade at guard over Rob Dillingham and Ayo Dosunmu. So
Mhm.
do y'all agree that Ayo Dosunmu is a better guard than Rob Dillingham? Because I saw some talks out there, Twitter and whatnot, that is what is Ayo Dosunmu going to do for you? And I was confused because I thought instantly Adosumu was a better player all around than Rob Dillingham. So what do y'all think on that upgrade there for Minnesota?
I think it was a win for Minnesota. I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like last year when they had Nikhil Alexander-Walker, he was a great guy off the bench, and I feel like Ayo Dosunmu is gonna have the same role for Minnesota. And
Hmm.
Ayo Dosunmu is a great defender, can shoot the three ball. He has shown the ability to create now. This season he's been really good this season for the Bulls. And Rob Dillingham is very young, and they didn't really trust his decision making and stuff like that. And I feel like it's a big upgrade. I wasn't really a big fan of Giannis going to Minnesota anyway, because I was hearing rumors of like them like giving up way too much. And we've seen in recent history, like if you just have two stars and a bunch of nobodies, like it's not gonna work out. And so I'm not going to say like getting Ayo Dosunmu is better than getting Giannis because it's not, of course. But they didn't give up anybody valuable in like Jaden McDaniels, Randall, Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo. This Timberwolves team has a lot of depth and they have a lot of defense. I mean, I feel like they lack a little bit of playmaking. I feel like Ant really can't be your playmaker, your number one playmaker. I feel like you need somebody else. Because Ayo really can't playmate like that, but he's a really good player off the ball that can do a lot of things. And I'm a big fan of Minnesota the second half of the season. I mean, the West is a gauntlet, but I
Yeah.
mean, you have Anthony Edwards, who's the top six player in the league, and Gobert, one of the best defensive bigs, and you just have so much depth and guys that can just switch and shoot the three ball, and move their feet. So I'm a big fan of Minnesota getting Ayo Dosunmu. The
Hmm.
Bulls are just a train wreck. I don't know what they got going on. I mean, Rob Dillahan's gonna be what, the eighth guard on the roster. So what does that do? Nothing.
Yeah.
But I think Minnesota, like I said earlier, it was Indiana, it was Boston, and I feel like Minnesota is probably the third. Minnesota really made a move that can really help them out and adds more depth for this playoff run. Because of course, you got OKC and the Spurs, but after those teams, and the Lakers are shaky, the Rockets are shaky,
Hmm.
and the Nuggets are good. But I'll probably put Minnesota 4 or 5, and you never know. So I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of Minnesota getting AO.
I am as well. I think it's a big upgrade over what they got, and they didn't settle at the deadline. They didn't get Giannis right. They made a move and addressed the need. They needed point guard bad. That's exactly what
Mhm.
they handled there with the sumo. So I'm a huge fan of it too. And you got to compete out west. You can't settle. So it speaks volumes to what, like you said, the second half of the season might look like for them.
Yeah. Can I add something real quick?
Of course, bro. You ain't got to
Ayu
ask
Des-
me.
Ayu Dosunmu, man, is one of the most efficient role players in the NBA right now. He's shooting
Mm-hmm.
51% from the field, 45% from three,
Mm-hmm.
and 85% from the free throw line. That's like obviously that 5% free throw percentage like is a big difference, but like he's damn near 50, 40, 90.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rare air. I think he's averaging like 15 points per game so far this season when he was
Yeah.
on the Bulls. I think like 4 assists per game. But I mean, like, you want to talk about the definition of versatile? It's Ayu Dosunmu, man. Like, he'll go out there and guard the other team's best player. He doesn't care. Like,
Mm-mm.
I
And he
think he's like,
fits right in with the Timberwolves when he
yeah,
does that, right? Because
yeah, I think
everyone
he's
on the
like six
Timberwolves will do it.
four. Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo doesn't want to guard anyone. So you have someone like Ayu Dosunmu who can come in and guard, man. Like, the Timberwolves won the trade, man.
Yeah,
Who cares about those 4 second-round picks? Like, who cares?
the Bulls do, bro. They love second round picks over there in
They
Chicago.
can have them. That's fine.
Like,
Like
yeah,
Rob Dillingham, he's a liability on defense. You get rid of him. Leonard Miller wasn't really touching the floor, I don't think. 4 second-round picks are gone. Who cares? Like, it is what it is. Ayuda
yeah,
Sumu, Julian Phillips, he won't see the floor. He might get waived, possibly.
yeah,
But yeah, Timberwolves won this trade. Timberwolves, I'm giving them an A plus. The Bulls, I give them a C,
yeah.
I
Just
guess.
try again next year.
Yeah, who cares? But yeah, we trade by the Timberwolves, man. A plus.
For sure. Another one that involved, like y'all pointed out, there's 1,000,008 guards on the Bulls, right? So another guard that needed to get out of there, Kobe White, and he went to another team that kind of took
Mhm.
advantage of the Bulls. And he went to the Charlotte Hornets. I like Kobe White to the Hornets from the Bulls. I like this one too because, like I said, it's another team that went to the Bulls. The Bulls are, I don't know if they had a plan to stack up on guards and then sell them. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but Kobe White, everyone was expecting him to get moved at the deadline. The Hornets went and took advantage. I think they got an upgrade over Colin Sexton to fit their system a
Mhm.
little bit better. I think similar tiers of players, right? I don't know what to really expect from Kobe moving forward. I think right now in their career, Kobe is the better player. But I think that's a nice upgrade for the Hornets as well and taking advantage of the Bulls not knowing what the hell's going on. So Any thoughts on the Kobe White upgrade? Just
I
kind of
didn't really
whatever.
get this move from Charlotte. I feel like they're kind of even as players. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Kobe White. I mean, 2 years ago he was really good, but this year his 3-point shot hasn't really been falling. And I feel like
Mm-mm.
the Hornets don't really need a guy like that. So I don't really see the point of it. I mean, it's cool because I think Kobe White's from Charlotte, so he went to UNC. I mean, that's cool for him to be back home. I'm not gonna say it's pointless because no trade's ever pointless, but like I feel like this trade really shouldn't have happened. I mean, Colin Sexton's been pretty good off the bench for the Hornets this year. And Kobe White just I think Colin Sexton's the better playmaker, but Kobe White's the better shooter. I think it's even. I don't really think the Bulls won. I don't think the Hornets won. I think just whatever.
I think it's another case of the Bulls not capitalizing on the opportunities that they have presented in front of them. Right, they let Kobe White go again, and what are they doing with all these second round picks, bro? It's like I guess you're trying to give yourself a chance to hit on a Jokic. I don't know, man. They got 3 seconds in that one too. It's like I just don't know what Chicago's plans are
Hmm.
on that one. Another Bulls guard. I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse here, but another trade that the Bulls were involved in, and this time they're bringing a guard in instead of sending one out. Well, this is one of the earlier trades on the deadline. They got Jaden Ivey from the Pistons,
Hmm.
and the Pistons address a nice need here too. Kevin Huerter addresses the shooting need for the Pistons, bringing a shooter alongside of Cade Cunningham, kind of gear up for a championship run with Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. I think I was a big fan of that the um, for the Pistons, and then obviously the Timberwolves were involved in there, and that's where they got rid of that Mike Conley cap at. Kind of just another one that I don't know. Feels like the Bulls were facilitating in. Landed Jaden Ivey. That's a good piece bringing him in,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't have any thoughts on what they're doing with guards. It makes zero sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're just stockpiling just to stockpile. Like you look at Jaden Ivey, he's on an expiring deal. I mean, I don't know if the Bulls are interested in re-signing him. I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
Jock Landale just had 26 points in his Atlanta Hawks debut. Sorry, I had to
Yeah,
throw that in.
yeah. He got traded to the Hawks for money for cash. The Hawks
And he
are
just dropped 26 points tonight.
Lionel's been
Crazy.
solid this year, bro. A lot of
Crazy.
people sleep on him from his time in
Yeah.
Houston or Phoenix when he was not doing too hot, but he's been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
And the Hawks needed it, so to get him for, especially after trading Porzingis, that's a W trade
Yeah.
for the Hawks.
Yeah. But yeah, this trade was if I get like obviously more benefits to Pistons. They had some shooting, and I think who else did they get in that trade? I think they get another player and
Oh,
within
Dario Sart.
Dario Sarge probably won't play, but they also got the a first round pick from the Timberwolves because the Bulls took Mike
Yeah,
Conley. Yeah,
yeah.
it's I think it's like heavily protected and it's like a pick swap of some sort. But I think the Pistons won this trade. The Bulls, I don't know what direction they're going in. Like I said, I don't know if they're interested in re-signing Ivy or just letting them hit the open market. But I feel like in a situation like this, when you trade Kevin Huerter and Dario Sarge, I feel like when you have a situation like, yeah, Mike Conley, they had no plans of keeping Mike Conley. As you can see, like he's a free agent now. He's going to
Mhm.
re-sign with a team. Um, but then you have someone like Jay Ive who's on the expiring. What are you getting out of that?
Uh,
Like you didn't get a second. You didn't get anything out of it.
mm-mm.
You pretty much traded Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric for nothing in return. Like, yeah, you're gonna get what 30 some game, 40 some games out of Jaden Ivey, and then you go from there. I mean, maybe you re-sign him, get him on a
Maybe.
smaller deal. Yeah, but if I'm Jaden Ivey, I'm definitely gonna see what's out there in the open market because who the hell wants to play for the Bulls with this malpractice of
Yeah,
GMing going on? But yeah, I just feel like the Bulls are just doing shit just to be like, hey, we did something.
yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know what the Bulls had planned. All deadline, they did not make a single move that made sense. And it's like this every year with them. They is just repeatedly terrible at the deadline. The last
I'm
trade,
actually
I
a fan
guess
of the trade for the Bulls.
you do like that trade for the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the Pistons gave up on Ivy like that. I know he's been hurt and coming back from an injury, but before injury, he was real nice for the Pistons, and I kind of expected to keep him. But I feel like Ivy is going to be he can show some promise in Chicago. Like I said, it's a lot of guards,
Yeah,
but I feel like getting Jaden Ivy for this is pretty nice. And I mean, he has talent. I think he had like 13 tonight in his debut, which isn't great, but like he's showing something. So I feel like the Bulls kind of won this trade. I don't really get the point of getting Kevin Herter for the Pistons. I mean, yeah, it's more shooting, but I feel like they could have went somewhere else, like wing help or something like that, because you already have a guy like that in Duncan Robinson. But I feel like the Bulls win this trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of their better moves. It's just this was before they started getting all those seconds and all those other guards and sending guards out. So they made this move and then backed it up with a bunch of bullshit that I don't know. I just feel like this is their best move of the deadline. But like Bird pointed out, is Ivy even going to stay there? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's true.
Ivy Ivy might ball out and build up his value, test the market in free agency, and go wherever he wants from there. So it just depends on how it plays out long term. They got a first though, right? The Bulls got a first out of that.
The Pistons.
Or the Pistons got a first. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that for Detroit, giving up Ivy for Herter.
Mhm.
Yeah. They would be my winner out of the three-way trade for sure. Really, I mean, there's some other trades out there, some smaller ones. The main one that we haven't covered is Jerry McCain. The rich get richer over in OKC. I think we gave up. I mean, we paid the price for him, right?
Yeah, he gave up the Rockets first round pick.
I know, I know, but I mean, we gave up the first and in 3 seconds too. If you ask the Bulls, that's a lot. So I don't know. We obviously have picks to spare. It's not like we gave up the house for him.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Like someone like Jaden Ivey goes for one pick, right? And Kevin Herter is like Jared McCain, kind of similar, like a young guard. Injury doesn't really have a whole lot going for him. But McCain, I think he comes in, and if he can be healthy for OKC, he's in a really good spot. And they'll get the most out of him over in Oklahoma City. So I think it's a W trade for really both sides because he wasn't doing anything for the Sixers. So they get a pick, a couple picks, and OKC brings in some more depth.
Yeah, I like the trade. I don't like he obviously fits in. He's a shooter. He fits like a shooter fits on any team. It's hard not to fit on the team as a shooter. But like where does he play? Like I could see if like let's say Isaiah Joe was in like the last year of his deal. Isaiah Joe still has one more year on his deal. Aaron Wiggins has I think 3 years left on his deal. AJ Mitchell's obviously on a rookie deal. I think he has like 2 years left on that or whatever. There Lou Dort has a team option next year, I believe. Like
Cut him.
wait what like where does McCain fit into the equation? Like I'm pretty sure they'll probably find some minutes for him. There were some rumblings about, this being Caruso's last year in OKC, but who knows, but
Yeah. I think even if we can't use them right away, we can use them down the line, right? When some of these people start to disband and we start to lose some of these guys.
yeah,
We have
yeah.
McCain on a really cheap deal. He's still on his rookie contract. If he doesn't
Yes.
pan of our first round picks, that
hmm
we were gonna draft a guy like him anyways. You know what I'm saying? So it was worth the shot, even if we can't fit him in right now, which I think we still will. I think he fits right in alongside of that second.
hmm
It's gonna chip into someone like Isaiah Joe's minutes. It just is what it is. But running him alongside of AJ Mitchell, you got two ball handlers on the court that are ready to go at all times. So I think he fits in nicely. Even if we don't use him right away, it's smart to have someone like him on your team moving
Yeah.
forward instead of using some of these picks. Cam, I know you love OKC, bro. They're your favorite team. What do you think about them getting so much better?
Yeah, I'm the biggest OKC hater ever. But I think they won this trade for sure. I don't really know what Philly's doing. I don't even know why he wasn't playing for Philly. I mean, his rookie season, he was really balling. I mean, yeah, you had Embiid out and Paul George out, but I mean, when he had the volume, he was scoring the ball very efficiently. I mean, you can go all the way back to his days at Duke. He's a very nice 3-point shooter.
hmm
So I mean, OKC loves taking the three ball. I mean, the whole league does, but he fits right in, like Bird said. But also, like, yeah, he might work in the future, but like, for the next like couple months, like, is he really gonna get that much play time? I mean, you have Shea, he's not playing over him, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, Casey Wallace, Mitchell, like that's 4 or 5 guards right there. That like, does he get like only 10 minutes a night? Like, we'll see. But I mean, I think he's a nice player, and if Dort leaves in the off season or whatever, then okay, he plugs right in. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what Philly's doing, but OKC definitely got a nice young player that might not be, a viable asset right now in the rotation, but maybe next season when they lose one of their guards, he can, plug right in and be a very nice depth piece.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it will play out for them. I'm surprised people traded with OKC, right? There's only the only deal they made, but I'm surprised people even like gave them a shot. I didn't know if we would stand put or do what at the deadline. I had us being involved in some stuff just because of the draft capital that we have, but for us to pick up a young player like McCain was pretty fire to see. It's been a long video, man. We're approaching an hour. I think this will easily be the longest one we've ever made.
Uh-huh.
All good stuff. But before we get out of here, y'all give me one loser from the trade deadline. Your biggest loser, like team, player, whoever it may be from the deadline.
I mean, you could say the Heat because the Heat are a playing team that made no moves, but that's kind of a basic answer. So I'm gonna leave it to somebody else. But I'm gonna go with Toronto. I feel like they really needed a big man, and they were talking to Sabonis for a couple weeks now. A trade with Sabonis and RJ Barrett, and nothing really, came with it. And I mean, they traded for the guy from the Warriors, Jackson Davis. Yeah, he was great at Indiana in college, but like he hasn't really done anything in Golden State. So now you get him as your big, and Toronto's what, a 3 or 4 in the West. Like they're going to be in the playoffs this year, and like you're going to go into a playoff series with Colin Boyles, the rookie, and you're going to have Trace Jackson. Like they're going to get pummeled in the paint. And like I really like what the Raptors have with Scotty and Ingram and Quickly. I like what they have. And, I was a fan of RJ Barrett, but like if you can get Sabonis for that, and yet the spacing wouldn't have been perfect, but like you got Sabonis, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Quickly, like that's pretty nice. So I thought that the Toronto Raptors would kind of be more like one of the better center to kind
Mhm.
of make a little run in the playoffs. But what they have now, that they seem like their first round exits, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's a great angle. A team that a lot of people are not looking at, they're the fourth seed, right? They got to make a move to get better at the deadline. They should have been one of those teams that's buying. Instead, they sat on their hands, didn't make any moves. So that's a great angle there, Cam. I think they should have got a big, no doubt. Bird, biggest loser from the deadline. Who should the bet?
The Miami Heat. Pat Riley, man, GM malpractice. It's like it's getting to a point where it's like, come on, man, like do something. Like you had John Morant there. Like, yeah, the Grizzlies were asking for I think Jaime Jaquez and Terry Rozier's contract and whatever else. Like, you at some point, like if that doesn't materialize, you have to pivot. I feel like they could have addressed their point guard situation. Go get somebody, to run the one. Yeah. So that's my loser team wise. I have a loser player wise as well.
Who you
And
got?
it's probably Giannis. He
Okay.
has to deal with the Bucks for
Mhm.
another 4 months, 5 months or whatever. Like
That's what I mean. That was if one of y'all didn't say one of us had to say it, right? For Giannis and the Bucks to both. I consider both of them to be a loser, right? The Bucks are gonna essentially get nothing in return for Giannis, at least right away. Down the line, I think they will if they make a move on it in the offseason. But at the time of the deadline, to get absolutely nothing for Giannis makes them a loser. They could have capitalized on it, and Giannis, you got to stay there. He's not going to play the rest of the season. I think they'll shut him down if he's out 6 weeks or whatever it is. I mean,
mhm.
that's well after the All-Star weekend. They're terrible. Just shut him down and try again next year. So on the flip side of things, if you weren't going to trade Giannis, you didn't get him any help either for when he comes back. So I just think all around the Milwaukee Bucks were probably under the most pressure coming into the deadline, right alongside, I would say, the Warriors to make a move
Mhm.
and get their superstar some help, and they
Yeah.
didn't do it. So that would be my biggest loser. I agree with both of y'all's. If I didn't say the Bucks, I would have said the Heat or the Raptors too. But especially notice all three of our teams are in the Eastern Conference, right? They're
Mhm.
all that the Eastern is wide open. Make a run at it, so. I don't know. I appreciate y'all though. Like I said, it's a long video. We've been on here
Mhm.
for an hour. A lot of trades and stuff to go over. A lot of good stuff. Hopefully you guys have been tapped in. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely let us know down below. Let us know what y'all think some of the trades. If you're a Wizards fan, because I know a lot of people are local with us. So let us know what y'all think of that Anthony Davis trade and so forth. I appreciate y'all. If y'all watched the whole hour of this, that means a lot. So thanks for that. Bird, Cam, I appreciate y'all as well, man. Give an hour of
Yes,
your
sir.
time to the video. That's super fire. So won't be the last one. All right. See ya.